Thumbs up for Shaka Mayanja, whose life has channeled the words of one of Jamaica's reggae pioneers, Bob Marley, of love the life you live the life you love. For the love of reggae and jazz he has lived, and so a life he has had in sync with music promotion and events since childhood. The son of the legendary historical Mayanja-Nkangi, born of the same name, has had his roots of legacy in reggae, jazz, and music events promotions written all over Uganda's music industry, just like his father had his name written all over the history of Buganda and Uganda's political terrain. Shaka Mayanja-Nkangi of Black Roots Unlimited and Black Roots Music, that which has carried international music icons onto Ugandan music stages since 1996 under Johannes Hami Nexus, bringing Chaka Demas, Pliers, and Spanner Banner to UB40 as Mayanja's exploits expanded into the annual Jazz Safari and the annual Soul R&B Safari. His list of international music imports have become magical. People and power. Uganda's history not only places Shaka Mayanja as Uganda's reggae veteran, but also the music promotion magnate that linked Uganda to the rest of the world, setting the stage for international artists and also transforming the approach to music events. This episode belongs to the CEO and founder, Jazz Safari, Shaka Mayanja. Welcome to People and Power.
Thank you.
Okay. I would love to take you back into retrospect to probably your teenage years and make a comparison to maybe your life as a teenager in any ways related to today's teenagers.
Well, my early years were in the 70s, you know, so there was a lot of music in the house because my parents came from exile with a lot of records.
Yeah.
So they had, it was very eclectic, you know, it was a lot of, there was everything from classical music to jazz to disco, funk, blues, choral music, you name it, everything was there. And you know, the LPs had like lyrics, so you could open and read and sing along, you know.
Yeah.
So I became an anorak from a young age. You know, I need to know who played what, when, who produced what. So those were my early years in music, you know. But then, 70s, you had to create your own fun, you know. There wasn't too many toys and things like that. So you had to create your own fun, you know, which is different from now. So then everything was sacred, you know. A toy car was sacred, you know, having a toy car. So the difference between then and now is that we held a lot of things sacred, which is now there's too much of everything. So we don't hold too much sacred when you're young at this age, in this era.
I've read that you started out at 13 years old. I know we'll delve into that, but when you look back, for example, what we've just talked about now and to where you are today, did you see yourself here?
I think I kind of always did because I started in the school choir, you know. I was still the youngest member to join at the time, you know, with a friend of mine, two friends actually. I think Moses Chinove and Edward Walugembe were like in P5. And then it used to be for P6 and P7. So we were spotted and asked to join, and I stuck to it, you know. So drums, traditional instruments, choral music, harmonies, and all that stuff we learned at a very young age. That was my foundation in Budo Junior School, you know, music. I don't remember studying anything. It was pretty much music and football, you know. I was a fanatic of football from a young age. So it was pretty much football and music, you know. So even organizing events, you know, I started in primary school. That's, you know, school concerts.
So
I was the first person to do it, you know.
For the school?
Yes.
Okay.
Because there used to be like every house had to do every weekend to entertain the rest of the school.
Yeah.
But what I did was to get different members from different houses to put on a show. You know, nobody had done that before.
Can the same experiences, maybe you would tell us, probably prepare today's youth for the same kind of trade that you've done for the last 30 years or more?
It did, because it can, you know, but the amount of information now, first of all, is too much. So the creativity becomes a bit lower. It's an advantage to have a lot of information, but how do you actually handle this information? You know, that is one. But two, you know, my journey spiritually also tells me that everybody has a calling, you know. So sometimes people fail because it's not their calling. You're trying to do something that the cosmic system has not allowed you to do. You know, you're supposed to be doing something else. So a lot of the things that we do is because we are meant to do them. You know, so you need to listen and search out what are you meant to be. You know? You need to listen, basically.
So for you, was it the singing, telling the instruments what to do, or the instruments telling the music within you to come out?
It's funny because most of the stuff we did was, you know, we're like self-taught, playing by ear, you know, like playing piano, you know, just listening and fidgeting around and teaching yourself, you know. But it's because that connection, that's what you're supposed to do, you know. Because I heard once Quincy Jones said that even when you go to music school, they were taught that, okay, you can learn all this classical stuff, but keep an ear out for the spirit, because you can do something that wasn't even written. It just comes and you're inspired to do it. You know, so the instrument is just there waiting for you to use it. So you need to listen out to know exactly what to do.
So were your parents ever involved in your pursuits?
No, not at start, because my parents, you know, academics, my father definitely. So it was pretty much about books, which was I'm totally opposite to him in that respect. I just couldn't stand school in terms of books. So I used to roam around that hill of Budona, Galawi, and it's football and music. I don't remember anything in class, and the teachers know it.
How different would it have been if, for example, he was interested from the beginning?
No, I mean, it was not. I mean, for him, it was like any parent. Do the books first and then it's a hobby. That most parents in our generation, music is a hobby. You know, you need something to fall back on and all that, you know?
Yeah.
So music wasn't like paying anything. So you need to have a profession, you know? It's just now that through the foundations, now people are doing it as a profession.
Sure.
All over the world, it is a profession. But when we were growing up, it was for lumpens. You know, if those failures are the ones who do music. The musicians weren't really respected. You know, so I mean, like any parent, you look out. I mean, later on, he knew, you know, that the boy is, is chosen to do that. What I can't do anything about it.
What kind of support did he offer then?
I mean, he always used. I mean, when I had grown up and started doing all that, he always used to read the papers and ask me, you know, how was this show? When are you ever gonna make money? Blah blah. You know, he used to even write letters to me. You know.
Actually, when I interviewed him, he said, "Do you know my son? My son is a musician. Have you listened to his music? He's always all over the place."
Yes.
So that's
my dad loved music too. You know, he used to even read notation. You know. Yeah.
So what memories will you always carry, or do you always carry of your father?
Well, I still see him, you know, often. You know.
Okay.
I still see him often. So it's like he didn't live, you know.
What do you mean by you still see him?
Because I don't believe like life ends. That's what this sign means, the Ankh. Life, this is the Ankh from ancient Egypt or ancient Kemet. What it means that life is a force that never ends, you know. So he just moved on to another place, you know, and I still see him. So I remember, you know, he's reading. I mean, the man used to read. Till his die, you know, passing on, he was reading. Always reading, non-stop. You know, so I think he was too much of a loner. So he found solace in reading. You know, so that head of his had too much stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that probably make you maybe a mother's boy, or you were more of dad's son?
Me?
Yeah.
I think a bit of both, because my dad used to call me dad. You know, when he writes to me, says Tata, you know, like I'm his dad. You know, he always calls me, you know, he calls me Tata because I was given the name of my mother's father. But my dad calls me that every time. Even all his letters, he starts with that.
Okay.
You know, and I'm the only one he gave his names, you know. You know, so I think we had that relationship. Yeah.
So let's go back to, we talked about you and music and instruments in school. When was it revealed to you that this is something actually now that I'm going to do as a trade?
I've never
At what
thought.
point?
I've never thought about anything like that. That as a trade, you know. I just did music, you know. As a trade, I don't know. I've never thought about it that way. That oh, this is what I'm going to do. No.
You just did
there's
it.
a force that just says do this, always, non-stop. Can't retire.
So when was it that the industry started relating Shaka Mayanja to reggae, let's say, for example?
1989.
89?
Actually, I started out with hip-hop with the friends of mine in school, you know, in King's College with Bazanye, Gonza Kagwa, Omar, and, you know, the Mayanjas. So we had a group. And they used to write a lot of music.
Okay.
100 songs plus, you know, proper structured songs. You know, they're geniuses, these boys. So I learned songwriting from them, but it was in 89 that I kind of said no. Because I first discovered reggae in 81, you know, was probably maybe 9 years old. It was still an LP and a record of Bob Marley and the Wailers, Rastaman Vibration, you know. 89, I read a book about the Sharpeville massacre in South Africa, Soweto, and I said that's my first song that I wrote. So that's when the seed of this whole Pan-African movement started. So that's when I deviated. I started writing reggae in 1990, 89, 90, you know. But the first show that I did was 1991 at Little Flowers.
Yeah.
First reggae show in this country.
What was it like?
It was interesting. All my schoolmates and I was already in S5. Not school for me, man. So my schoolmates came from Budo, from college school, you know.
Yeah.
And we put on a show at Little Flowers.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the performance like? How many songs did you have? Was it
And
a
all
full
my
album?
songs. Most of them were my songs too.
Yeah.
You know, but the great thing about it was the Hope Mokasa let me use his band. So I had all these senior musicians, you know. All the top musicians in this country, like instrumentalists, backed me on that first show for nothing, literally. You know, so we did a show in 91, reggae show.
Yeah.
I still have the video somewhere, VHS.
Oh, I hope we're able to get that content and see you in action.
I'll probably have it somewhere, yeah.
Okay. So we're speaking of 1991. Which names ruled, I don't know, music? I don't even want to be specific to reggae.
No,
because
then it wasn't in the videos.
It wasn't?
It was bands.
Tell
you know?
us.
So you had Afrigo. There was Afrigo 1 and Afrigo 2. Afrigo was that big.
Okay.
And there were so many musicians in there. From Moses Matovu, Tony Sengo, Tony Senkebeje, Fred Chigozi, all these were musicians in their own right, like songwriters.
Yeah.
So they split it into Afrigo 1 and 2. It was that big. You know, then came Big Five, Mixed Talents with Hope, Central Volcano, the Marine Band, you know. There were so many bands. Even Kadongo Kamu then was actually, you know, more popular. So you had the Sabatars of the time. Cafe was just emerging, you know. It wasn't pretty much big that time.
Yeah.
So you had all these other, you know, Kakumirizi and Kadonkamu was the biggest music then. And the band music. People were actually recording. People had albums, which people don't do now.
Yeah. Because I was going to ask you the meaning of doing an album at the time as compared to the singles that are outed today, in addition to the one-hit wonders.
I did albums. We had to go to Nairobi too by bus to record it, you know. So I went to the few friends of mine, James Mwanga, who was Eli Wamala's son, was my best player, Albert Stamirike. Went onto a bus, went to them Mushrooms, Nairobi, which was already a big band.
Yeah.
They got me some musicians, live musicians, and we did a great job, you know. Some senior musicians, Dave Otieno, the late Amalemba, and we put together original songs on an album, which came out on an LP, which, you know, most kids don't know what an LP is, via the records. We have them there, playing on the turntable, and cassettes. Yeah, we even did an album launch in '93.
Okay.
But by then I'd done so many shows, you know.
Yeah. Within the country?
Oh yes,
or
within the country.
Then how did you get the breakthrough to actually perform outside of Uganda?
I haven't really been doing shows outside Uganda until very recently. You know, when we did the jazz thing, but in reggae, no.
No?
It was unheard of.
Okay.
It was unheard of. Who toured? There's nobody toured. I think the Renzori band of Fred Kanyike and them, they went to Japan maybe in '78 or something. Then Hope Mukasa and Miss Talents did a tour in Sweden.
Yeah.
Maybe in 1991. But that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else who toured then.
Yeah. But did Ugandans, did you feel at the time they understood reggae music? Because it was also during the trends of the dreadlocks.
Well, I'll tell you something. Reggae was for lumpens and street urchins, and you know, because nobody played it, not even on radio. Maybe they could play UB40, Maxi Priest Beat, Jimmy Cliff, you know, Gregory Isaacs. But it was the lovers' rock. Nobody was playing the roots, you know. And I mean, it was a crime to have locks, you know, because my friends like Kato and them, they used to tell us stories, like about a time, Glory, Horror, and all those people. It was like nobody had locks. It was a crime. The soldiers terrorized people, you know.
Yeah.
They're doing it now again, but you know, for the longest time we've been okay. But before, it was unheard of. At my first show, one of the Mugalu boys, you know, Mugalu was the center of reggae, William Street, near California. They even had the whole Bob Marley poster and all that.
Yeah.
They were the only ones that we knew in this town with locks. You knew the 2 or 3 people in who had locks. So one of them actually came for the show and was dancing like proper reggae. He knew what reggae is, and like the whole crowd was watching one guy dancing. You know, nobody had seen anybody's locks. This is '91.
So when did you decide to do yours?
25 years ago.
25 years ago? We're
Yep.
going to see them, right? You're going
Probably
to, at
not.
some point, you're going to remove them.
Probably not.
Why not?
Because locks is like I think it becomes vanity, you know, if you put too much attention to it. Because it's not about, it's a sacrifice that one does, okay? So it's a personal sacrifice, let's put it that way. So once you do that, like in an interview, it's like attention now goes to locks.
Please, come
it goes to
on.
hair.
The locks.
It's just hair.
No, Shaka, that's a lie. Your locks are part of your reggae journey, and probably I pray you allow us to see them at some point. So did your music ever get played on radio? Because you mentioned no one was playing the reggae music.
Radio Uganda.
Okay, yeah, tell us.
We went to Radio Uganda with the LP. I met Dick Mrema Sempaka, who is the lead now.
Yeah.
They had a panel. They play the music and listen and say, okay, we'll play this song. You know, they had a whole panel to decide music. There was only one station, you know.
Okay.
So one time I was at home and the driver called me and said, hey, come, your music is on. And it was on BBC, you know, BBC Africa or something.
Yeah.
And then Kenya, they were playing it on KBC, you know. So it was good. There was only one station. So to have your song played on one station,
everyone is listening anyway.
You know, you could do a whole party, you know, celebration for that. Now it's pointless.
Yeah.
Whether the song is good or bad, there are 100 stations that will play it.
Yeah. What informed the messages in the songs? that
The
you
album
were
was
actually
called
putting?
Bloodshed in Africa.
That's the
That's
first
the
album.
title album, yeah, title of the album.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much that. A few lovers songs, maybe. Then we did one as a joke. Because we did one as the last song. We did that Tweri Row affair with my friend. We wrote it like over lunch with Mwanga and Albert.
Yeah.
And we just said, okay, let's just add it on as a filler. The Kenyans didn't know what it meant, but they said, you know, that's the song.
The Ish.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah?
Yeah, so they said that will be the song. The other music is too serious, that one. So one time we were with Videorama guys and they were editing a kasiki. And they said, people are dancing to your song, you know. It was, I think, the kasiki for either Aloysius Smatovu Joy or Senkubiga, one of those Bakayimira guys. The first time it was being played, it was a kasiki and people were dancing like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Then it took off from there. Alex Nnalubaale gave that song a lot of, in Echoes. Most people don't know what Echoes is now. Echoes was a club, a nightclub on Nkrumah Road. Yeah, Alex Nnalubaale was a man.
Okay.
Alex and SM Sounds.
Yeah. So what was happening within your family while you were busy making music? Because I've read that somewhere within your family you lost a brother and it changed your
That
life.
is way, way later. That is later. But by then, we are, you know, people were studying in universities. For me, after HSC, I said, no more. I'm not doing studies anymore. But, you know, it was still your students, your kids. So everybody was doing whatever they were doing, studying. Some of them left. Actually, I was the only one who didn't leave Uganda. Most of them, my entire family was outside the country. My siblings, that is, you know. And they all had foreign passports. I'm the only one who doesn't have one and will not get one.
Okay.
I don't even have a Ugandan passport anymore.
He doesn't have a, okay. So did you ever regret like not having pursued
Me?
university or school?
I still hate school
You still hate it even
to this day.
Okay.
What, you know, one thing that I valued about school was the friends that I met. I went to school in 78 as a kid, you know, P1. So I was in boarding school from P1 to S6, you know. It was like a boot camp.
Okay.
It's like military, you know, boot camp.
Which
It's
primary
like torture.
school are we talking
I
about?
went to Budo still. I was Budo
Budo
through
Junior.
and through.
Boot
Kabinja, you know. Forget these kids who are taking mineral water and stuff to school. You know, what you don't. Somebody needs to do a movie about our life in the 70s
Okay.
and 80s. You know,
Yeah.
people have everything now.
No, because people would imagine having been the son of the Mayanja-Nkangi.
In the 70s, he was just any normal person. It doesn't matter, you know. We used to go and take taxis. He didn't have a car for the longest time.
Yeah.
So we used to walk to the road and get taxis and like any other person. Of course, people used to say, that's the, you know, pointing. Some would stop and give him a lift. It never bothered him once.
Yeah.
Not even once, you know. Says he came from Karungu with nothing. So it's not important.
Okay. You're watching People and Power. This episode belongs to reggae veteran and also music promoter, that is TShaka Mayanja. We're going to take a short break and we'll return with more, so watch.